Hi, it's Steph. Welcome back to the podcast series, What You Didn't Know. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest. She is a champion surfer, an adventure traveler, a neurosurgical nurse, and a mum to three very beautiful boys. Welcome to the podcast, Sam Bloom.
Thank you, Steph. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I wanted to just point out that you have kindly agreed for us to be able to do two versions of this podcast, one being the traditional audio version and a very special version so that people who are deaf and hard of hearing can come on later with captioning and watch our Zoom call podcast. So thank you so much for agreeing to do that.
No worries.
Awesome. Well, Sam, you've got a pretty big following and an audience, people who know you for your story and for the journey that you've been on, which started back in Thailand in 2013. So I was wondering if you could take us back to when things changed for you when you went on this holiday and give us a bit of a recap about what happened.
Yeah, sure. So my husband and I have always loved traveling. And so when we had the kids, we wanted to instill our love of traveling in them. So we thought, actually our initial plan was to take them to Ethiopia. Wow. Because we love Ethiopia. And so we were going to fly to Ethiopia via Egypt. But unfortunately at the time, there was a bit of political unrest in Cairo. So we'll take them to Thailand instead. It's safe, it's lovely, beautiful people. And so we were 4 days into our holiday and we were staying at this really nice hotel. It was sort of halfway between Phuket and Bangkok. And it was our second morning there and we just went for a swim, just doing normal stuff. And then one of the kids spotted a staircase which went up to like this big flat observation deck. So we went up and I leant on the railing and it had dry rot and I didn't realize. So I fell 6 meters and fell down and broke my back.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, it wasn't the best holiday I've ever had.
No. And so I understand that you were in Thailand hospital for some time and then eventually were able to be taken back to Sydney.
Yeah, so I was, because we were in quite a remote area. And so because I'd sort of split my head open and, I had quite a few injuries. And they took me to a local hospital and I think I don't remember any of this, but I had an x-ray there and they're like, it's not looking good. So then we're all put in an ambulance and went about 4 hours up to a place called Wahin. And I was admitted to a private hospital there. So they left me there. Well, no, they didn't leave me there. It was 3 days later and then they operated on me and put rods and screws in my back. And so I was there for about 10 days and then I was transported up to Bangkok. And I was there for, I think, another 10 days or so. Mm-hmm. And so what they were doing in Bangkok, they would get me to sit up, like they put me on like a tilt table. It was like a table which moves up. And they just wanted to make sure I wouldn't pass out on the plane for takeoff and landings. Yeah. But once that was all organised, then they flew me back to Australia.
So once you get back to Australia, obviously go straight into hospital. And I believe at this point, you still don't sort of understand the severity of what has happened or I guess the final outcome of what's happened. So what did that look like when you got that news about, okay, this is the end result of my injury from this fall?
Yeah, I know. Well, it was I was taken to Royal North Shore Hospital, to the spinal unit, and I went down and had an MRI, and that's when I went back up to the ward and that's when this doctor came in. I didn't even know him. And he just came in and said, like, I've looked at your MRI and it doesn't look good. And and I asked him, will I ever walk again? And he just so bluntly said no. And all I remember, I just pulled shit over my head and just burst into tears. I was devastated because I used to be so active, and exercise and I guess sport was my thing. It's what I loved. And and having that all taken away from me. Yeah, it was almost like my worst nightmare.
Absolutely. And it's devastating to receive news like that, but then to have the delivery of it as well.
If it just said, if it said obviously the truth, like it doesn't look good, but if it just give you just a little glimmer of hope, maybe one day things might, change and they'll find a cure, then you kind of think, okay.
Yeah, that you've got something to, help you push you through and to help. And I did want to talk about this a little bit because I know a lot of young people will be watching or listening to this, and these are the teenage formative years. And I think we hear a lot about kindness, like, you know, it costs nothing to be kind, and that's fine. But to take it that step further and say, actually, it's really important to be empathetic, compassionate, sensitive. What are your thoughts on, I guess, that level of like emotional intelligence that, you know, goes beyond just being kind?
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like, I mean, yeah, like you said, if he just said, just, you know, give me just a little bit of hope, then it would have made like all the difference. There's the one thing I have actually learned since my accident, and I obviously knew it beforehand, but there are so many kind people in the world. Like, it's just phenomenal. Like, when I got out of hospital, I wasn't in a very good headspace, and I got into kayaking, and like my coach, who I'd never met her before, but she's just like the epitome of, she was the most beautiful person. Like, she would just go out of her way, you know, to do extra training, or just, she was just so kind. And it made the biggest difference to me. So it doesn't take much, but yeah, being kind to people, and I think mindful, like, of what you say and do, it just, yeah, it can just make your life so much better.
It can, because as well, I think you say in the book, like, sometimes when you meet someone and you don't know them, and maybe they're a little bit standoffish, or, you know, we don't know what other people are going through or battling, or we've all got our personal stuff happening, and it's so important to just be nice, like, even if you're met with a little bit of adversity, or
yeah, it's so true. Just being kind can enrich so many other people, like, just enrich their lives.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it makes you feel good if you know you're helping someone. It does make you feel good.
It does. Yeah. And you might be the reason to brighten their day. And
100%.
Yeah. And so then, I guess, as you said, like, when you know, after receiving that news and coming home and I guess adjusting to a new life, the not just the physical but the mental struggle, the mental health. How have you sort of been able to get through that aspect of it?
That was very challenging. I mean, it still is, you know. I can't say I love it, because I so don't. Like, I still wake up and go, oh no. But I mean, the first year, when I came home from hospital, I think that was when I was like, I think I was so overwhelmed with my new reality, which I didn't like at all. You know, and we overlooked the beach, and just everything that I used to love doing, like surfing and just mountain biking, running, whatever. It was right in front of me, but I couldn't do it. So yeah, I was not in a very good headspace. And then I felt bad because, you know, because I had the 3 kids, and they were quite young. And so I felt like a really bad mom. And then, you know, you'd feel guilty. It wasn't fun. So I think the one thing that did help me with, like, my mental health was exercising. That's when I got into the kayaking, and I'd only just paddle 1 day a week, but it was like, it was the best day of the week for me. I don't know, put a smile on my face, and just makes you feel better.
Yeah, so because we do hear a lot about, you know, exercise is great for mental health as well. Do you still kayak now?
Not really. I mean, we get for the occasional paddle, but I've got a friend who's a personal trainer, so I train with her like 5 or 6 days a week.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it just makes you feel better.
Oh, it definitely. Yeah.
If you're a bit grumpy or whatever, and you like do some boxing or whatever you can do, 100%, you start smiling and you just feel a million times better.
And you've also got a beautiful support network around you with hubby and the boys, and as well, from what we see, like, just on TV and the book, and it seems really important to have that close support as well.
Yeah, no, they've been amazing. Like, I have been so lucky in that respect. Like, obviously the kids and Cam's been incredible. And like, again, my kayak coach, Gay, like, she's been a massive support. And my friend Mandy, who's my trainer. So you only need to think there's a handful of people.
Yep.
You don't need like a whole team. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still have those tough days and moments?
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I guess I shouldn't say every day, but yeah, I never wake up going, awesome. I always wake up, I look out the window and I go, oh, I always think, oh, I would have gone surfing, or I would have gone for a run or a mountain bike ride, which it's not beneficial, but I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that seems so normal though as well, like just to, when you're going through something, like it's still okay to have that,
Totally. You
yeah.
can't be happy all the time.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, everyone's allowed to have a crappy day.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So then when you were struggling as well, this is when Penguin appeared.
Yeah.
Which is another beautiful layer to the, to the story and what people also love, that's happened. So can you tell us a bit about Penguin's arrival and,
Yeah.
who she is and what she did for you guys?
Yeah, sure. So I was about 3 months after I got out of hospital, and yeah, like I said, I wasn't terribly happy. And so Noah, my middle son, and I went to my mum's house just for lunch, and it was pretty windy, and I wasn't driving at the time, so mum had to drive us home. And we went around to her car, and Noah just found like a little baby magpie that had been blown out of the nest. And so we thought, oh, she'll die if we leave her because she was so small. And so we picked her up and took her home, and yeah, that's how, I don't know. She stayed with us for like 2 years. She was so beautiful. Because I think for me, I mean, I felt like I just brought home like this dark cloud over me. I brought everybody down. And so when we brought Penguin home, she actually just brought some excitement and happiness into our house, which was just brilliant.
Oh, that is, yeah. Animals are wonderful, and you do talk about even in your book, like as a child, you had Daisy the duck.
My dog, yeah. Yeah, they're very healing. I think animals, mean, geez, because Penguin, because for the first year I was home all the time. I wasn't driving, I wasn't doing anything really. And so when Cam and the boys weren't here, I just had Penguin as as for company, and she was just amazing. So I would tell her everything.
Oh, and
Tell her more than Cam because I didn't want to bring Cam down. So she was a very good listener.
I was about to ask you that. Yeah, was she a good listener for you?
Yeah. Never talk back.
No, yeah, never talk back. Just took everything. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And have you? I think I read that you've taken in some birds since.
Yes, we have.
Never the same as Penguin.
No, funny enough, no. We've had when was it? A few years ago, 2 baby magpies that had been blown out of the same nest as Penguin, and they were very cute, but they weren't. They just didn't. We didn't have that connection like we had with Penguin. And then yes, and we had another baby magpie last year, but she's now gone. Like, we've never kept them in cages. They are always free to do whatever they want. So if they're ready to go, they will go. And we have a currawong named Frankie, who's very cute but very, very, very cheeky. So, she's not here at the moment. She slept inside last night in the bathroom. She goes out all day and then just comes back, and you go in the bathroom and say, oh, hey, Frankie. And she's just up on the shower screen, and that's where she sleeps.
I imagine birds are interesting. Like, most people would go for a dog or a cat, but I think they obviously offer a lot, like, big things in little packages. They seem quite quirky and boisterous.
Oh, yeah, that's so quirky.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And they all have different personalities.
Yes.
Like, Frankie's quite affectionate.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're annoying, like if you're annoying her, or, if she's being a bit naughty and we put her outside, she makes this noise, and it's almost like she's crying, kind of like like a dog going, and she knows that she's getting put outside. So they definitely have big personalities, birds.
Yeah. And would you say Magpie, her timing was just right on for you?
Yeah, perfect timing. I've always said she came at the perfect time and left at the perfect time.
Oh.
So yeah, it's kind of meant to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, okay, so I was wondering if we could go now to a bit more of the sports stuff as well, because you surf too.
Yeah, well, because I've grown up on like the northern beaches in Sydney, and so I've been surfing ever since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
because that's just what we did. I've always been a tomboy. So, I always like boy kind of things. And so, grew up surfing, and then I surfed all the way up until, I guess, the accident.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the accident, I was just like, it was my first summer, and we're up at a local beach. It's just Palm Beach. And Cam took me for a swim, and a friend of ours was out there with a surfboard. And he's going, come on, Sam, get on. I know you love surfing. And I'm like, no. And then he sort of convinced me. I said, okay. So I caught one wave, and I'm like, no, that's not surfing. It's like, you're lying down. And so it took me 5 years to get back out on a board again. I know, but I am so glad I did. Like, it's just the best. So I love it.
Yeah, but you've taken it further. Like you've competed.
Yeah, I know. It's so
tell
weird.
us about that aspect. Like, champion surfer.
Yeah. I was just lucky. In 2018, I went up in a competition up in the north coast of New South Wales, and I feel really comfortable in the ocean. Like, compared to kayaking and competing, where I was just so nervous, I feel quite comfortable surfing and competing. And so so I did quite well and got on the Australian team for the adaptive surfing. And so in December that year, we all went over to San Diego, to America, and competed at the World Championships. But honestly, it was the best event. Like, it was so much fun. There were like people from all around the world. Everybody had a different disability, or, like injury, like because we had also blind surfers, people paralyzed, people missing limbs. It was just awesome. And you could just tell everybody loved it. Like, it just made everyone happy.
Yeah.
I absolutely love those events. And so, I did quite well, and I won. I get quite competitive. But no, it's really fun. So I've been into, competed twice in the World Championships, and two-time world champion. I'm like, yay! But it's cool. I was just sort of stoked. I was stoked for the boys. Just to sort of show them that, yes, I was in an incredibly dark place, and kind of hated life, hated everything. And just to show them that, there is always a bit of light.
And that you can still do things, like look at the things you can do versus what you can't. And
Yes, I mean, geez, if I hadn't got into that, I don't know, I'd still be in that, dark kind of horrible place. It isn't a nice place to be.
No. And the fact that you could, it also kind of crosses into the overseas championship was, I guess, another opportunity to travel, which is something that I really enjoyed reading about travel adventures. And at the time, it seems like a bit of a rite of passage around that time of wrapping up uni or going through, being a student, being in your early 20s, and then you catch the travel bug and out you go into the world. So can you tell us a little bit about why you love travel so much?
Sure. Well, like I said in the book, when I was in first grade, I think it was first grade, our teacher asked everyone in the class, we had to draw a picture of what we wanted to be when we grew up. And that's when, I don't know where it came from, but I wanted to be a nurse and I wanted to work in Africa. I had a thing for Africa. And so, when I was in high school, I would just work at my mom and dad's cake shop, and I'd babysit and do any jobs just to save money to go traveling. And then I remember when I was in year 11 and 12, I did French from HSC, which I wasn't very good, but I had this plan. I wanted to go to West Africa, like Senegal and Mali and all that, because they speak French there. So I was trying to get all ready for it. So I love it. I absolutely love Africa. I love the people, the people and their culture, and there's just something about it. It's the best. Cool.
Would Africa be somewhere you would go back to now with your family, or not so much?
I would kind of love to, and I'm sure you could do it. You know what I mean? And I think I have to go back.
You do? Okay, so you want to show the boys what you did?
It won't be the same. I mean, because Cam and I would always go in the middle of nowhere, which I don't think would be terribly wheelchair accessible. So it would never be the same. Traveling for me would never be the same. You know, I've always got to take all my stuff, and it's always a bit of a hassle, but I do think I would love to go back to Africa at some stage.
Yeah, amazing. And then I guess for like teenagers who are listening to this, how important, or again, like a rite of passage, is it? Like, would you encourage people to go see the world before they kind of settle down and, have commitment?
Yeah, but no, I'd 100% encourage people go traveling.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that's why I always say, like, I don't know, I think for me, the main message in my book, and one thing I am so grateful for, is that if I wanted to do something, then I would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't put your dreams on hold, because, like, you never know what tomorrow will bring.
Absolutely.
That is the one thing I like, especially writing the second book, like with Bradley, that it kind of really sunk in. I was thinking, wow, I am incredibly lucky, that I did up until that time everything I wanted to do.
Yeah, definitely. And that is such a good message too, because sometimes you might think, oh, the money or or I don't have time, or I'll prioritize this over taking a chunk out to go do something I want to do, but just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the book we've been talking about the entire time is a beautiful book here. So this has recently come out this month in September.
Yes.
So Heartache and Birdsong. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. What sort of prompted you to do this as the follow up to your first book, Penguin Bloom?
Well, I think when Penguin, like the first book came out, like the response we got from people, like it sort of blew us away. Like from people, like obviously in Australia, but all around the world, just messages like saying thank you, because they don't feel so alone. Because like you said before, everybody has like a story, and everyone has challenges, and you do. I mean, I guess in a way I did feel alone as well. When I came back home, I'm like, well, I'm the only one in the wheelchair, and I'm the only one in like pain all the time, and it's a bit of a poor me kind of pity party thing going on in my head, but it's true, you do feel alone, and that's why it's nice to connect. I think with people who are going, doesn't have to be exactly the same, doesn't have to be someone who's also suffered a spinal cord injury, it could be chronic fatigue, like anything.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice to connect with people who sort of get it. And so that's sort of why we were inspired to write the second book, which is my perspective. So for us.
Absolutely. And so this has been picked up and filmed as a motion picture as well. What is the latest with the movie? I know we've got Naomi Watts who plays you. So.
Yeah, no, so weird.
Yes.
Well, it premiered in Toronto last week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you come out in Australia on the 1st of January.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. I mean, geez, Cam and I, like, we kept going, wow, this is so weird, because we're just us.
Yeah.
You can see I am nothing fancy, that's for sure. So yeah, no, but it was unreal. Or I remember saying to the producers, I said, all I want you guys to do is just make it real and honest.
Yeah.
Which they stuck to. Like, I mean, we've seen bits of it, and I think Naomi is amazing.
Yeah.
She cries a lot, she looks angry a lot. I'm like, yes.
Oh, yes.
It's good. Yeah, it's great. They've kept it real.
Good. So, yeah, that's absolutely. And was it filmed locally?
It's in our house.
Really?
Yeah. They moved us out for about 3 months.
Wow.
So they came in, and our house is quite white, and so they painted it quite dark, I think, just to set the mood of, she was not very happy, and they put curtains up, so she'd often like pull the curtains shut, used to kind of isolate herself in the film, and
Well, I didn't know that. Is that it?
Yeah, don't worry, I can say that.
Yeah. Wow, so I didn't realize. Yeah, they filmed literally on site in your. Wow, that adds a whole other dimension, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know it does. It was so weird, but it was nice. It was fun being on set, like, and just watching them. Yeah, it's amazing. Geez, I must say, I know actors earn a lot of money, but geez, they work hard.
They work for it.
It's incredible. Like, they would be shooting like 6 days a week and like 12-hour days.
Really long hours some days. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see this one. Sam, I wanted to ask you too, in the book towards the end or at the end, you do write a letter to the boys,
Oh yeah.
which is
Yeah.
made me cry. Yeah, and a few key messages or pieces of advice that you sort of point out in that. And so two of them that really stuck out for me was the not to take no for an answer as the first one, which is very like a determined attitude, and I love that. So what's the push behind that? Don't take no for an answer, make it happen anyway.
Yeah, I think, well, like people do tend to not put people down as such, but, say, oh, no, you can't do that. And then, and then you'd go, oh, okay. Like, thinking, well, I can't do it and I'm not going to try. But I just think if you really want to do something and you're passionate about it, then do it. Regardless if people say, oh, no, don't do that. It's a waste of time or whatever. I mean, if your heart's in it, then do it.
Absolutely. And then the other one, and you've touched on this, is the not tomorrow, today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just do it. If you want to do something, then yeah, just go for it. That was funny. Yeah, even like our eldest son, he's 18 and him and his girlfriend have gone up to Queensland like before the border shut. And yeah, and I'm like, just do it. Like just go. If you want to do it, like go now and just have fun and enjoy yourself. Because that's what you're here for.
Yeah, that's
fun and adventure.
Absolutely. And so what are your goals for the future? Like, what are you hopeful for? What are you looking forward to?
Well, hopefully when everything comes back to normal, like, the whole COVID thing, I would love to go in the World Championships again. And yeah, and be a 3-time world champion. That's my aim. But also I'm an ambassador for like Spinal Cure Australia. And so I try and raise awareness, for spinal cord injuries and try and raise some funds for them. And so there's going to be a trial starting this year, which is pretty exciting. So I don't know. I would love one day to get on a trial and try just to see if I connect a pathway. And and even like, perhaps I'll be too old like to ever walk again. But man, if they find a cure, like imagine for young people.
Yeah.
Because it breaks my heart. Like for me, I was 41 when I had my accident. And like I said before, up until that time, I'd done everything I wanted to do. Traveled, became a nurse, had the kids. It just breaks my heart when I see young people who have sustained like injuries like this. And I just think that's so unfair. But yeah, that's my goal, is to just help try and raise some money so they can put it towards finding a cure.
Absolutely. And so obviously people can donate to the foundation to help with this.
Sure. I didn't mean it like that, but
it's important. Like it's great because it all counts, doesn't it? Towards
Well, 10% of the royalties from the book goes to Spinal Cure Australia, which is cool. Geez, like try and help them in any way we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. I always just think, imagine how many millions of people around the world, it would be the best day of their life.
Oh, yeah.
Actually find a way to fix broken bodies.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Sam, thank you. Was there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to talk about or mention, or any last thoughts?
Thinking, no, I would just say, just always to young kids, like, you are more capable than you think.
They are, yeah.
I always say, because like before my accident, like I've always been really shy and hate being center of attention. And so, once, it was probably a few years after the accident, and I had to do like a talk. And, to get up in front of people and talk is like my worst, like nightmare. And so I always say, if I can get up and talk in front of 1,000 people, you're capable of anything. Yeah, man, like seriously, if I can do it, you can do, everything.
Everything, yeah. There's no limits maybe other than the ones you put on yourself.
Yeah. 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 So true.
Yeah. Oh, Sam, thank you so much. Again, like it's just, it feels really special to talk to you again, not just because we're doing a podcast, but because we're doing something for the first time that another group of people are going to be able to experience who just miss out on
Yeah.
this altogether.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. See, again, what you're doing, you'll brighten so many people's days.
Oh, thank you.
Really
Well,
nice. Seriously, it is. It's little things like that. You don't realize. You just think, wow. See, you're one of the nice people out there.
oh, so are you though. Like I just, yeah, I couldn't have like planned it better to have you as a guest for the very first Deaf podcast. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Sam. All right. Well, thank you for coming on this episode, for joining us for this podcast series, What You Didn't Know. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Steph.